Nothing like a little sunshine. Got sand on your feet and a big bass line.
So we're just feeding the lambs again. Tell a lie, I'm Cameron, Roy's feeding lambs. We sadly had to stop because we kept getting sheep stuck in the feeder, which was really, really annoying. So we had to kind of curb the creep purely for that reason. So now the lambs are weaned. Living with these guys though. Nothing hopefully will get stuck in there because there's no sheep. They're just naughty. You're just naughty. Very naughty. Now, I'm not trying to steal Joe's mates or anything, but Big Mick's coming past and we're going to meet in a lay-by. Makes it even better that Roy's with me, but don't worry, the kids are here as well. Not bribery or anything, because I know he's on a diet. Mick's here. TK Maxx legend. I'm not stealing your friends or anything, Joe, but seriously. Not many people I would stop in a lay-by and get wet for, other than Big Mick. Stop it. Oh, stop it.
It's so adorable. From you. Wait, keep it in the house. I can do
No,
this.
don't keep it in the house, please. Oh, God. Swallows are trying to get in there really bad. So, this handling system is a mess. Look at that. So, if you've been watching my videos, you will have seen that we have clipped in here. We've kept some sheep indoors in here. We've also kept a couple of calves in here just for holding overnight. And then we dipped in here as well. So, this was the result of just silage that was in a ring feeder. This area here is where we clipped, sheared even. I need to stop saying clips. I keep getting told off for it. This is where we sheared some sheep, just 40 in here. And this was just all the offcuts of daggy wool that we threw to one side. Then we ran the sheep through. They made an absolute mess. And as you can see, this is the result. So what I want to do is get the scraper in here and get the majority of the rough off, and then bring the sweeper in maybe, and maybe even stick the pressure wash on, just because it's just a little bit of a mess and it's not getting any better on its own.
Cocktail twist in a silver sun. You can text me later, room 501. Killer whips and a kick drum. Waste it away on season sun. Midnight approaching, all of your friends are here. We're all smiling ear to ear. Come disappear. Let the loving sound surround you. Let the loving sound surround you. Let the loving sound surround you.
Had a little bit of a disaster. There was a water leak in the stables where the pigs are. So we've just cleaned everybody out, as you can see here. And I absolutely love these boxes. If you've watched this channel for a long time, I have explained these before, but it was a long, long time ago when we were getting a load of calves in and keeping them in here. Pigs are next door, lambs are in the end. So these, they drain. Well, you can see by the breeze blocks, the fall on them, right to the front. There's a hole all the way through all of them, and then any liquid drains all the way down here, through here, down here, into the drain, goes into the slurry over there. What it means is anything that's in here, the bed at the back stays dry and all the liquid drains away from it. So it's cleaner and drier for longer and, you know, healthier for the animals because there's less bacteria foistering in the bottom of that bed. What we tend to do is we tend to bed behind this line here on the floor that you can see. And then anything in front, we keep it fairly clean. We keep it scraped every day. They are fed at the front and they're watered here at the front with automatic feeders that run along all of them. It's actually a really handy little space. They might not look shiny and new like the rest of the buildings, but actually usability-wise, functionality, it works really, really well. Really well. I've got some dairy cleaner here and I'm just going to stick it down because these are where the pigs have been. And then we'll let this dry overnight and then we'll bed it back up and they can come back next door and have a nice clean bed. So we had one fine day yesterday. You may have seen me just pottering around, cleaning the handling system out, feeling a little bit, you know, like life was on the up. And we're back to this. So it's early on. Royce was feeding the pet lambs and pigs. Win wants a wee. We're going to have to go in the fields and wreck them even more to feed the animals. Even though, to be fair, there is actually a fair amount of grass on. It's just we've started feeding them and they're looking really well. And obviously, as you know, we're going to be selling them. You know, if this was a normal year, it wouldn't matter. We'd probably stop feeding them and let them take the chances outside, you know, just eating grass because we'd have all winter to build them up. They're going to be sold and we're going to be replacing them with jerseys. On that note, if anybody knows of anyone who wants to sell a herd of jerseys, preferably pedigree, just because of the health, like, certification, not because we're wanting to be, you know, pedigree, whatever, mostly just because of the health status. If anyone knows or anyone can think of anyone who might want to sell some jerseys, we will need 120 of them by January. Someone must. This is a really misleading cup. I got given it at a tractor run. I can't afford to buy anything from Rickaby's, trust me. They did have a really cool golf buggy for 10 grand though that me and Tom Barker quite fancied the look of, to be fair. It was a fancy golf buggy, it was really fancy. So I'm just gonna go and feed those there. 2 grams of silage, it's probably 50% dry matter. So I'm just going to go and feed the cows. Oh, wow. Oh, the door was left up. Oh, the seat's wet. Oh, no. Oh, no. And the little cab's flooded. Oh, no. Oh, Ollie's going to be so disgusted with me. Oh, no, we left the door open. Oh, my bum's wet. Oh. I think I might come and clean the Merlot with me this afternoon. I'm so old, look at me. Oh my god, I'm so old. I'm gonna do clean the Merlot with me. I can just imagine Ian right now. Ian's one of the guys who follows me and he will be absolutely disgusted. Disgusted. Where's the windscreen wipers? Here. My bottom is definitely wet. So this silage here is probably about 50% dry matter. There's nothing wrong with it, it just is very dry. It's more like haylage than silage. With that in mind, you wouldn't be wanting to feed it next year to cows that are milking. It just wouldn't be advisable. So we are feeding it now to cows outside. Oh god, my bum's actually wet. Oh no. Such a letdown. This is how I spend my life. I wouldn't worry, I'm used to it. Oh. This is where they staged the Great Escape on me. That's nuisance, that. Rallying the troops. She stood right in front of me. There she is, rallying the troops. There's a possibility I might get stuck. I'm really sorry if I do. Like, what's the point in pretending that like everything's lovely and perfect? What's the point, really? There isn't one, is there? There isn't one. Now, if we were to move that feeder around the field, it is that wet that it would just cause mass destruction. Now, instead, what we've got is where we're going to put a slurry tower, hopefully, we have an area of wet spot, which is just mud and gunk and stuff. But to be fair, we're actually going to dig it off anyway very soon. It is near a water course. It's not on a hill where the water would drain down from a water course. That area there, it sits. It always has done. So we've messed it up, and then it kind of just sits and goes hard, but not hard, it goes soft. And even in summer, it just sits as it is. It always has been like that. It's like a sacrifice area. If you are fortunate enough to have 800 acres of fell land and you aren't feeding your cows because you've got loads of grass, well done you, I applaud you, and I wish you the best. Unfortunately for us, we are a small present, suckler farm in the Eden Valley. It's really, really wet. It always has been, and this is just what's happening. I genuinely don't see the point in trying to lie and say that everything's wonderful when it really isn't. It's idiots like me that are making a mess and then having to clean it up. I am my own worst enemy. That isn't a grab, that is a handful that's barely hanging on. My theory is more is more. As you can see, it's winter and the beanies are back out. I'm not quite progressed to a fleece-lined Ollie Harrison agri contract hat yet, but we are so far on the Tom Penn beanie, which was actually gifted to Roy, not me, but finders keepers and all that. Just gonna say something. Would you like to do it? Yes.
Do you remember there was one somewhere? There's one over there that you used to trip over. There's one back here.
That one there. Why can't I just dig this out? It's been here years and it's really annoying. Oh, I bet it's quite big. It throws trailers over. Do I dare leave Roy speaking on YouTube in? If I've left him in, I'm feeling brave. So this here that I am walking on, believe it or not, is a hard track. Here. And the idea of the sacrifice area, as we're calling it today, being there is that you can just nip off the hard track, make as little impact in the rest of the field as possible. They're just going to poach the hell out of it. So this is probably would explain nicely why we want to go into jerseys. The ground is actually suited for it. Give it hell, Roy, God. The ground's suited for it. We're really, really wet. They've got smaller feet. They'll have less impact. The reason why, not the only reason, but one of the reasons why it's suited to being a dairy farm is that we can actually bring them in when it's wet like this. Unlike our cows that just make an absolute scrow and we can't bring them in. Why can't you bring them in, I hear you say? Well, when it's raining like this, you wouldn't necessarily bring animals in because they're all wet and then they'll go in the shed and the steam will rise, condensation and all that, and it's a risk of pneumonia for the calves because it's just wet and warm. It's not a good place to be inside. They're far healthier outside. What are you doing? Just being naughty. We're growing out of season barley out the back of Roy's bumper. We are really good at growing barley in places that barley is not meant to grow, but then we try and do it in a field and we're a disaster. I don't know how we do it. We can literally grow it out of a piece of plastic, but we can't grow it in soil. Speaking of which, let's go and have a gander at the barley on the way past. I'll make Roy stop. This car is iconic. And when people ask how are you affording to do all this, because we're okay in driving around in a car like that. We don't have to have a Range Rover and we don't have to have an Isuzu pickup. Iconic. £1,200. 6 years ago. Maybe embarrasses the kids a little bit, I must be honest. Anna is pretty mortified about it, but she'll have to get over it. Oh my God, I've just come in and the kids have been to my grandma's and she's given them these from Morrison's. I thought it said Big Mix. Quick, give me that marker. So I just thought I'd bring you to the ballet, have a little look at it. So as you can see, we've got pretty much 2 varieties of barley intertwined with each other. So we had a failed crop of barley. The rabbits were the reason that the first lot failed. Like, this isn't handy though, is it really? Look at this. Have it, so if I do this and just show you. It's just so wet, isn't it? This is ridiculous. I can't even get hold of one. So here you have your old and your young together. It's just, yeah. So the winter barley is the one. I've just got back in the car out of the rain. The winter barley is the one that was failed. And then obviously the younger stuff is the spring barley that we put in later. So we've just gone to Roy's dad's here. This is next to the A66 where all the straw fell off the other day. So we milled yesterday. I don't know, I'll turn the light on. We're not like Joe Seals. We don't have a high-powered, massive big mill, but neither do we have that many cattle to feed. We feed ours by the bucket. Yes, it might be labour-intensive, but at the minute that is how we've always done it, and it's how we will do it until the dairy cows come. We're not going to change now with so short a time to go. These guys here get a mixture of a brewer's grain from a local brewery who are friends with Chris at Till Brewery, and barley and silage, grass silage. That is what these guys are fed on. We'll fatten these up until they're about 14 months old. They are a lot of our own limmy crosses, limmys crossed with Angus's, that kind of thing. And then we will sell them on to somebody else who will buy them. We're not farm assured. There is no need for us to be, not for any, quality reasons, but just because we sell everything as stores, and we only ever send 2 or 3 girl cows a year, if that. So it's never really been an advantage to us. So then somebody like Joe would then buy our animals at this size, and they would run them on for 90 days and put weight on them. So I just wanted to tell you, even though they're empty because they've just finished them, this stuff, hold on, I can't even tell you what it is. I don't know. Here, this stuff here. So the cattle, these here, they weren't cleaning out quite as well as what we wanted. They had like a red haze on them. And we spoke to a lad called Aaron. He works at Eden Farm Supplies, which is like a local agricultural, I don't know what they're called. Not an engineer. They sell like farm stuff. What are they called? Someone tell me. Anyway, Aaron said, I'll get you some stuff. Last year we bolused everything with mineral boluses. Obviously this year we aren't, with the young stock, we aren't at our house. We don't have a head scoop. So we've gone for the bucket option, which is something that we only ordinarily do buckets at back end when we want some like magnesium buckets for the cows outside to stop and getting staggers on any kind of fresh shoots of grass. So he sent us these. Now let me show you. So they've had 1 bucket of these in each compartment. And can I just show you, do you see any red haze on them cows? Do you see any? Let me just walk you down here and show you these ones here. That one there's got a little tiny bit left. Here. There's one there that's got a tiny little bit. Do you see any of them black ones with a nice hair, like a coppery haze on them? Like what we thought they weren't cleaning out properly. It's like dead baby hair kind of thing. Now these guys here didn't have one. They didn't have one and they did. Now, I'm not saying the proof is in the pudding. I'm not saying that. We've ordered more. We've ordered a big one and 4 little ones. Honestly, I thought it was a gimmick. I thought it was just a bit of, molasses. It's done something. I don't know what it's done, but it's done something. We are very mineral deficient here. We have been for years, haven't we? Particularly iodine, selenium, copper. Like, it's just a crap area for it. And it's caused us a lot of problems over the years. So I think something like this is just an essential. Roy's just told me a little snippet of information. He was speaking to a man the other day from a feed company who came down, and he was telling us that if you feed silage only to your cows, that it's law that you soil test every 5 years for minerals. Where has this snippet of information escaped us as farmers? Did anyone else know about this? Seriously, stick it in the comments. Did you know about this? But I don't really know who's going to come and arrest you. That's quite interesting. And to be fair, there is no single farm payment anymore. So what's the risk of them saying, oh, we'll take your single farm payment off you? You know, that threat that they like to hang over us. If you don't fill this census in, we might not pay you. Well, guess what? You're not going to pay us anyway. Seriously, though, what are they going to use as a threat? Because at the bottom of all the sheep censuses, it says if you don't fill this in, there's a risk that you won't receive your single farm payment. Well, if there is no single farm payment, are we free? Have you let us go? It's like being held captive for so many years, and all of a sudden you're going to let them do what they want. And for a while, those cage spudgies will all fly around like headless chickens in the sky, and then all of a sudden they'll realise that they are free and they can actually go anywhere and do anything. So the pigs are dry. This is what the pigs at stable looks like with nothing in. You see there, it's nice and dry, but you can also see quite clearly illustrated how any water goes down to the front and runs along there. So it might not look snazzy and perfect to you, but it is functionality wise spot on. This is well designed. Are you guys ready to move? Right, it's time to move Joe Squeals and Ollie Hogs into their nice clean stable. I'm just going to go and grab some straw. Joe Squeals and Ollie Hogs. Oh my god, I'm so funny. Stop laughing, Roy, stop laughing. It's Joe Squeals and Ollie Hogs. So pigs are remarkably clean, believe it or not. They will sleep in one area and they will poo in another. It's amazing. So we've bedded down in that corner. The pigs will make little beds in there and they'll be quite happy. And what that means is I can just scrape to the front any very watery pig poo and wee-wee. And I can actually hose out as well, which is really handy. And it just keeps it smelling fresh and nice. So the pigs are fed on the same nuts that we feed the pet lambs on. You can buy specialist pig food, but we've never found it makes a great deal of difference. It is illegal. Another legal today. It's illegal to give pigs anything that's been in the kitchen, and that's just to prevent disease. Come on, you naughty hoglets, in there. So that is Joe Squeals and Ollie Hogs in their new home. They are feral. They're ready to go soon, to be fair. The weather's pleasant. It's absolutely tipping it down again. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you all as always. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and I'll hopefully see you next time when it might not be raining.